Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Holistic Mystic Show. My name is Boston Summer. I am a revolutionary shamanic healer, spiritual life coach, and plant medicine mystic. I love, hi, I see you guys coming on here. I love exploring these realms of the mystic arts, of the spirit realm, of unpacking our emotions and really learning how to get in touch with our true self, the one that is unburdened by all of our past or by the worrying about the future, like the one that is in our heart center, the one that we came, the one that we are before we came to earth. And so let me know who's watching. I see you guys coming on here. Who's watching live? Let me know if you're watching the replay. Drop a hashtag replay and go ahead and type your questions in the comments. If you have any questions about cacao, ceremonial cacao, how to work with this plant spirit, how to maybe prepare the medicine in a good way. I wanted to just start off with a little bit of a story of really how I built my relationship with this medicine. I have been working with this medicine since May of 2020. The whole pandemic really brought me inward, and it really was a shifting place for me in my life and my journey, especially in my career. At that time, I was an esthetician at a day spa that I'd also done hair at. I had, pivoted careers from a hairstylist to then now I was an esthetician working with skin and massage. And I started to explore energy work, like with Reiki and reflexology. And I was doing all of this stuff that I really did love to do. However, I felt this calling to really go down this path of being something more and different than what I was. It was very kind of like mainstream of the healing I could provide. I was working at a day spa, so I felt like the ability to reach my clients was very micromanaged. It had to be done a certain way, and it really felt constrictive, but I did love it and I was really good at it. So I kind of convinced myself that I wanted to go to massage therapy school so that I could provide deeper healing and energy shifting for my clients. And it was in this space that I had met cacao. Ultimately, I believe, that the medicine finds us, right? I don't think that it's a coincidence of the timing that this medicine finds us at all. So when I started working with cacao, I was following this shamana, and I was working with coca, like Hershey's coca powder. I had no idea that it wasn't actually cacao. I was trying my best. I didn't know what I didn't know. And I was adding it to my smoothies also. And I was like, yeah, I'm working with cacao. But then I finally did some research, and I realized that there is a difference between cocoa and ceremonial grade cacao. And when I started actually working with cacao, it changed my life. I kind of a little side fun story. I had ordered this ceremonial grade cacao. It's actually the same cacao brand and company that I work with now, even 3 years later. And I ordered it for a cacao challenge. And this cacao literally arrived 10 minutes before the opening ceremony of working with this medicine. It was so divine timing. And anyways, I thought that was just kind of fun and cute and something really cool to share about how cacao is always right on time. And so since then, this plant spirit and working with cacao has really become really near and dear to my heart. I pretty much work with this medicine almost every morning, if not definitely a few times a week. When I started, I had actually started working with this medicine like every day for a year straight, and now it's been 3 years. So I just kind of like lean in the mornings and see if the medicine is calling to me or not. And this plant spirit is, I'm going to talk about who she is, how she works on us. But just kind of to finish up my story, this plant spirit really helped me to tap into my authentic truth and my authentic path, like what was best for me. And ultimately, I decided that massage therapy school wasn't the path for me. And I actually opened up my own energy healing and spiritual life coach practice in September of 2020. So I started working with her May 2020. And then by September, I had really, done this deep work and really kind of started to figure out what my passions were and what my path was for me. And so we can all work with this medicine if that's something that you're looking for, if you need help finding yourself on your path of tapping into who you really are. And it's also just been a really crazy and wild adventure of since then. The Spirit of Cacao has, like I said, helped me to quit a career that I wasn't really happy with, start my own business. And I've also really been able to really see like the depths of my soul. And I pray so many blessings to you as you embark on your own journey with this medicine. And as you walk into this journey, this path of finding wholeness in your life, I feel like that's what cacao helps me to do. And so I'm going to start this training with really unpacking what is cacao. So I've got this medicine here with me. I kind of drank quite a bit of it, but as you can see, it's like a dark chocolate liquid. And so when you mix it up, like when you first make it, it'll be all mixed up. But then like when it starts to cool down, you kind of just, I have like a little dessert spoon that I just mix it up again. And it's most commonly worked with in a drink form. So cacao is a superfood, and it's made from the cacao bean. So in the purest form, cacao has a lot of benefits. Most people know what cacao is because it's what you make chocolate out of. So you pull the cacao bean pod, you break it open, and there's little cacao beans in there, and then you grind them and mash them up, and you can make like a paste or a kind of like a puree of the cacao beans. And when you put that paste into a mold, that's pure ceremonial grade cacao. Nothing has been added to it. It hasn't been adulterated or processed in any way. And that's how you make cacao. And so a lot of companies, though, they add extra ingredients in there to like sugar, additives, fats, and a lot of other like junk that doesn't really need to be in there, either to cut the cost down, to dilute that out, and so they can make more of it, or to make it more appealing to the mass majority. And so that's kind of like how you get cocoa and chocolate. It's really high, it's highly processed. It usually has all those additives in there like milk and sugar. But cacao in its purest form is really that pure non or untempered with paste that you get from the cacao bean. And so this is the standard of purity that is needed to be able to consider a medicine to be consecrated in like sacred, holy spaces. So that's kind of how the name ceremonial cacao was made. And there's ceremonial matcha, there's ceremonial other medicines like hape that has a standard to it. It's regulated. It like has to like fit a standard of purity in order to be called ceremonial. And so that's the grade, that's the standard, and that's kind of the difference between cacao and ceremonial cacao. And sometimes cacao that says it's cacao, but it's not ceremonial cacao, can actually be coca, but they can put that it's cacao because technically it's derived from the cacao bean. So I thought that was really interesting. And the more that we get to learn about this industry, the more that we see like how much corruption is really involved in the chocolate and cacao industry. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but I just wanted to preface with like really doing your due diligence of the company and the brand that you're partnering with and you're consuming, because cacao and ceremonial cacao are completely different, as well as cacao and coca are completely different. So moving on though, ceremonial cacao is pure, it's high quality, it has lots of physical benefits. This pure standard or pure grade cacao. It's a superfood, so it has lots of nutrients and vitamins in there. It's a natural diuretic, so it will help you to naturally go to the bathroom more, move your bowel movements, and that helps you to detoxify and get rid of things out of the digestive tract that maybe you have a hard time going to the bathroom. It's just a natural diuretic, and it really helps because it has a lot of magnesium in it. So magnesium is something that a lot of people will consume when they need more consistent bowel movements, especially if you're working on detoxing. You need to be able to drain the toxins. And if you're not having consistent bowel movements, then it will prevent you from doing that. So cacao is a natural diuretic. It's a great alternative for coffee. So coffee can really make you jittery and anxious. Like I literally can't drink coffee anymore now that I've gone so many years working with cacao, because I used to be a coffee drinker of like, oh my gosh, I could drink 3 cups of coffee, 4 cups in a day. And that was just my normal. And it was really making me super anxious, hence why I kind of ended up finding cacao. And so if you're looking for an alternative for coffee, if you feel like you're a person that you're really sensitive to coffee, it makes you really anxious or maybe kind of moody or not angry, but what's the word? I'll think of it soon. But if it kind of just makes you feel like on edge, then you could try working with cacao for like 21 to 30 days, and that would help you and you can kind of see the difference of how it would help you and the difference between that and coffee. Lastly, cacao is a really great natural antidepressant. It releases the dopamine and serotonin, and dopamine is also considered the bliss molecule. And so it releases dopamine in the body, serotonin, theobromine, and these chemicals in the body really help to regulate stress, help to make us happy. And so it just makes a really, really great natural antidepressant, which makes so much sense why a lot of women especially really love chocolate. It's because they're craving the medicinal properties of cacao, which I thought was really, really cool when I learned that. Last piece about this physical aspect of cacao is that you do definitely, if you are on any kind of SSRIs or blood thinners, you want to ask your doctor before consuming cacao. It could be it could interrupt some kind of like the hormones and chemicals is not a good mix with the blood thinners, because cacao does kind of thin the blood a little bit. It's a stimulant. So if you're on SSRIs or blood thinners, talk to your doctor. But either way, you can still call upon the spirit of cacao to work on your heart space, to work with you on whatever it is that your goals or intentions are of working with this medicine. I know someone through the company that I partner cacao with, they were actually allergic to cacao. And they started by just praying to the medicine for a couple weeks. And then they started a really, really tiny dose of the medicine. And then they were able to work themselves up to a regular amount of cacao, like dosage wise, when they were completely allergic to it at first. So definitely, you know, feel into your space, what's true for you. And 1 second. And yeah, and you can see how that will work for you. So the spiritual benefits of cacao, oh my gosh, I love cacao so much. She works us on our physical body, but the spiritual benefits are also just so ample. And so the energy of cacao is, she's really a heart opener. So she kind of helps to melt away these walls around our heart that we build up, like whether it has to do with conditioning or experiences that we've had, or maybe we have a hard time connecting with our emotions. By opening up this heart space, you know, AKA our heart chakra, we can really then start to access and empower ourselves with this childlike innocence, this childlike wonder. And from this space, she really helps us to get in touch with our ooey gooey self. So our authentic truth, our authentic self, our true self, right? So all the different words for that. And so I kind of imagine it like this. So when you when you have a sucker, you know, those Tootsie Roll suckers, they have like the Tootsie Roll in the middle, and then they have the sucker on the outside, and you have to like lick it to get to the middle. I imagine cacao being this beautiful spirit that comes and melts away this rough, rigid exterior around our hearts, and helps us tap into that ooey gooey center, like our Tootsie Roll center. So she shows us how to get in touch with the feminine. I would be very surprised if you started working with cacao and your intuition does not increase. She's just a beautiful medicine, and obviously female, and really helps you just be inspired, get back in touch with feeling what it feels like to have our heart open. And when our heart is closed, right, we are numb, we don't feel, we kind of just walk through life like a zombie. But when our heart's open, we feel everything. We feel the good, we feel the bad, and we learn how to, you know, take it all in stride. And that's really a place where I want to live my life from. I want to, you know, if I'm on my deathbed, I want to like have no regrets that I was living my life from this, from my center, from my truth, from who I wanted to be, not what someone else wanted to be, or the world's expectations, or even like expectations I put on myself, right? So that's just what I feel like this medicine does. There's so much more amazing properties and things that the spirit of cacao can help us work on. But I I could literally talk about this for hours. And so I'm not going to go into any more details, but just know that this medicine has been highly revered by so many cultures and in the jungles in South America. And it's a super accessible plant, our master teacher, master plant teacher that we can work with daily. Like, we often want to have these huge, big experiences when we work with medicines, or we, go to ceremonies, or go to healing sessions, right? We want these big aha moments. But I find that really the truth, and the value and the most power lies in our daily lives. So by being able to have a medicine that you can work with daily, gentle but fierce, this medicine is, and she helps you to stay on track daily and make decisions from the heart and live according to who you want to be. And so by having a medicine that is super accessible, like cacao, we don't have to, go away for a week to go on a dieta, or we don't have to, um, take all this busy time or huge chunks out of our lives. We can take, a half hour to an hour each day and work with the medicine and really allow this medicine to integrate into our daily lives. Does that make sense? Are you guys able to understand what I mean? Let me know in the comments. So now that we talked about what cacao is, how we, what the benefits are, what she can help us with, and now how do we come in a good way with this medicine? So, well, let me first say, as I mentioned, we can drink this medicine as a drink form, and I have an Instagram reel that I can put attached to this that shows you how to prepare the medicine in a drink form. If you have any questions about like dosage, you can, feel free to message me on Facebook. And so we can work with her in a drink form. That's usually how most people work with her. However, you can drink it, you can put it in a smoothie. You can also break it up and eat it in little nibs or little crumbles. And I find that that's really nice too when I'm out and about and I just really feel like I need the medicine, because you'll start to get like a taste for it. And kind of like a sweet tooth craving, but like for cacao specifically. And so I like to have just little nibs with me sometimes, that way I can work with that medicine instead of going and getting like ice cream or something. It's really, really good to kind of have some prepared so that you can satisfy that craving, because your body is craving it for a reason, right? So with that being said, how do we come in a good way with this medicine then? Knowing that this is a plant spirit, that she has a consciousness of her own, she, is there every day or every time we work with her doing the big heavy lifting. And so how do we give it back? How do we pay it forward? So whenever we begin to work with the medicine, we always want to have some kind of intention. So even if you work with her every day or every couple days or maybe a couple times a month, it's important to have to start to cultivate an energy of sacredness and of respect of working with her. So this is a master plant teacher, just like ayahuasca, just like mushrooms, just like San Pedro, all the medicines. And so we really want to make sure that we allow this relationship to build. And so how do you build a relationship, right? Like we talk with the person, we're kind, we say nice things, we we give as much as we receive. And so by being able to connect with this medicine and build a relationship with her, I like to, go to my altar with the medicine and sit down and say what I'm grateful for. And I give my gratitude as a form of like payment almost, so that I can really start off with a good foot of giving before I ask to receive. It's always in the spiritual integrity to give before we ask to receive. I teach my academy students this. And so by offering something up like our gratitude, or maybe you have a different idea of something you want to offer to the medicine. And so the gratitude is like the simplest thing that you can add to give offering. But some people like to choose herbs. They like to offer tobacco. They like to offer memories or things like that. So you can get as creative as you want with it. But spending time with her, being able to learn how to listen and hear what she has to tell you, just like you'd have a relationship with a person, right? So give as much as you want to receive. Start out with an offering, and then you can go into what your intentions are for working with her that day. And then you can sit with her. So I like to just kind of sit at my altar, and even if it's just for 5 minutes, I just like to kind of connect with her, use my sacred imagination to pour this beautiful, loving energy and into the medicine. My intention, just sit there and allow her to literally put it up to my heart, connect with her, give her gratitude, give the intention, and then I will drink her. So the last thing I will say about how to come in a good way with this medicine, like I mentioned, I could say so much, but the last piece here that I will mention today is that when you think about the words that you speak to the medicine and about the medicine, that's almost just as important as the way you're talking to her directly. So I never, ever want myself to think of this plant spirit as an object. And so when we say, I want her to know that she's my friend, that we're in sacred reciprocity. And so I don't like to use the words use with this medicine anymore. I don't like to say I use cacao. I like to say instead, I work with cacao, I pray with cacao, I partner with cacao. And you can see how just that slight switch in my terminology with connecting and thinking about cacao is a huge shift. That way you're not thinking of her as like an object, something that you're going to only gain from, right? It's a give and take. It's a relationship. And so the more we can be considerate and cautious with even the words that we speak about this medicine will really help also in building this strong foundation of learning how to come in a good way with this medicine. So I did mention that we want to take caution when ordering cacao because eco-sustainability and fair trade is really commonly abused in this industry. And so if you can find organic, fair trade company to align with, that would just really help out the cacao industry. So like I mentioned, there's a lot of corruption going on with traders taking advantage of the farmers. And so we really want to be wise about who it is that we're ordering from. So I do actually sell cacao. If you're interested in purchasing cacao, and I do have an ordering link that gets you 10% off. If you're local, I can usually give you a better deal because I partner with a company that I trust. I have I have quarterly meetings with them, and I partner with a company that it really cares about cultivating this relationship with the farmers and making sure that they are paid correctly so that they can continue to do the good work of providing us beautiful medicine. And the more love and attention that's poured into even the growing process of the medicine makes a huge, big deal, a huge difference in the energy that you receive in the medicine. And so if you live locally, I can, like I said, usually provide you a really good deal because I partner with this company and I supply metaphysical shops with cacao. And if you're not local though, however, I can definitely get you a good deal. Like I can get you 10% off. I have an ordering link. So I will put that below. And if you live locally around the Southern Michigan, Northern Indiana area, as of when this is recorded, then you can, feel free to direct message me and I can get you supplied with this beautiful medicine. So the last piece here is that when it comes to praying with this medicine, in plant medicine and in general, I've personally witnessed that these plant spirits each have something unique to share with us. They each have something, they each have like a voice of their own. And so I love nothing more than to almost like ride these waves of communication between the medicine and me. And they share their secrets of the universe with me. I go out in the world and share that light. They teach me, they stretch me, they show me how to live in harmony with the earth, with people, with myself. And honestly, truly, I'm just so grateful that these plant medicines make themselves known to me, especially cacao. And we all have something to learn from this beautiful heart opening medicine. And it's like just so there's something that happens that's so unexplainable when we sit in like a sacred space with the medicine. And so for me, that's at my altar. And I also love to sit in ceremonies with the medicine. And so in these spaces, we can cultivate ceremonial living by ourselves and in community. And it's just really kind of separating ourselves from the normal, mundane, ordinary living and interrupting in that brain pattern of lighting a candle, of sitting down and being intentional, of praying and taking time out of our busy lives to connect with what is really important to us and being so solid and rooted and grounded in what that means to us. And so ceremony is something that, and living ceremoniously is something that we all want, we all need, we desperately need. And it's like people go out there in the world and they try to fill this hole in their heart, but ultimately no one else can do that for us. We have to find that for ourselves. Are you guys following me? And so ceremony and working with this plant medicine of cacao really just feels so it's hard to describe because it's like it's another part of me that now I can't imagine my life not being like the prayer, the ritual, the reverence for the sacred. Ceremony helps to connect me to that still small voice that's in my mind, in my heart. And I know that without a doubt that there is this divine presence available to me. And it's through this ritualistic practices like attending ceremonies, sitting at my altar, having self ceremonies for the past 3 years. Sometimes I've even sat in ceremony weekly and like in a group setting and ceremony daily, the self ceremony. it's from doing that, cultivating that practice, that I've been able to build such a strong intuitive foundation. So like I said, you can create a ceremony for yourself anytime you need, with an altar and a prayer, or you can feel free to join me in ceremony. I am a ceremonial facilitator now, and I got super in-depth training of facilitating safe, sacred spaces for working with cacao, working with the energies of plant medicines. And it's really important to work with a practitioner that is in integrity with holding ceremony. That way, you can be guided and held by a trained facilitator that knows what to do, and keep the energy container tight so that everyone can feel safe and secure. So I have had ceremony attendees receive messages, be able to connect with their animal guides when they were previously blocked. They felt safe for the first time ever in their bodies. They felt safe to also to explore the spirit realm for the first time ever. They were able to connect in community with people and really feel like they have somewhere to go. And then lastly, they were really able to grow their spiritual connection, kind of like going to church, but like in this space of connecting with ourselves and the divine, and not from a space of like rules. And so if ceremony is something that interests you, I do have a ceremony coming up. I'll post the information in below. But I am just so happy that you guys have come here. Good luck. And I wish you so many blessings on working with this medicine and starting to learn how to build a relationship with her on your own. So let me know in the comments how this resonated with you. What were some key takeaways? And I will comment on there and respond to you. So I love you guys. Once again, my name is Boston Summer. I'm a shamanic healer, a spiritual life coach, and a plant medicine facilitator. And I will see you guys on our next call, our next training. Namaste.